time. Folks, it's incredibly complicated, especially when you consider the chances of one DNA happening by chance have been calculated to be 1 times 10 to the 119,000th power. That's a pretty big number when you consider the visible universe is 10 to the 28 inches in diameter. It's just not going to happen. Now, if evolution is true, then I thought, you know, hey, the more chromosomes you have, the more complex you must be, so you must have evolved farther. So I made a chart of different plants and animals based upon their chromosome number. I discovered penicillin has only 2 chromosomes. So it must have evolved. First, that must be the simplest life form. And then slowly, over millions of years, it evolved some more chromosomes and turned into a fruit fly. They have 8 chromosomes. And slowly we got tomatoes. They have 12. By the way, so do houseflies. Identical twins, you know. Pretty hard to tell the difference between a tomato and a housefly. And then very slowly they evolved some more chromosomes and became a pea. And then very slowly it got 2 more chromosomes and turned into a bee. Now here you can see the similarity. P, B, very similar. And then slowly over millions of years it evolved until we had triplets. Did you know the possum, the redwood tree, and the kidney bean all have 22 chromosomes? The average scientist cannot tell them apart. Let's see, which one is which here? Let me think here. Tree, possum, kidney bean. I think I got them right. And then today we have evolved far enough that we now have 46. And if we can just get 2 more, we're going to be a tobacco plant. I know some that already smell like it. Sometimes I'll get on the elevator and I'll say, man, you're evolving, you're way ahead of me. How did you do that? And someday, I'm sure it won't happen in my lifetime, but we might someday get enough chromosomes to be a carp. By the way, dog and chicken are twins, you know. And someday in the far distant future, we might have enough chromosomes to be a fern. I was at a church one time. A lady walked up to me after church, said, Mr. Hovind, I'm fern. I shook hands with that hand right there. I'll never wash it again. They tell the kids, though, that the percentage of DNA similarity proves we're related. Here's what the textbook says. Boys and girls, humans and orangutans are 96% similar. That proves a common ancestor 15 million years ago. Now, just hold on a minute. Similar DNA codes prove the same engineers wrote the codes. Did you know Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word and all the Microsoft programs have lots of similarities? I mean, when you hit spell check in PowerPoint, it's the exact same program as when you hit spell check in Microsoft Word. And if you compared all the lines of code, I think you'd find there are millions of similarities. Does that prove both of those programs evolved from Morse code by themselves? Or does that prove the same engineers are writing the codes? Similar DNA proves the same engineer wrote the codes, folks. But they tell the students to think critically. Here we go again with this critical thinking. Now watch this here. Number 26. As you learned in chapter 2, all living things are make proteins from the same 20 kinds of amino acids. That's true. Explain how this fact, that's a good fact, supports the idea that all life forms shared a common ancestor. No. That's like saying, you know, all books written in English have the same 26 letters. There's only 26 letters in the alphabet, folks. And you can compare all the books in the libraries and find those same 26 letters in all of them. Wow. Does that prove they evolved from each other? No. That's the code to write in English, okay? And 20 amino acids is the code to write living things. And God did it that way, I suspect, because He wants to make sure that the brown cow can eat the green grass and digest it into white milk. And I can drink the white milk and get the blonde hair. See, we're all made from the same 20 amino acids. Otherwise, we couldn't digest anything else. That really was thinking ahead on the Creator's part, you know. See, if everyone had a different code, we could only eat other humans. That wouldn't last long. See, that's lie number 23, folks. This shows a common creator, not a common ancestor. Similar structures nearly always have similar plans. Similar bridges have similar blueprints. This hardly constitutes evidence that one sired the other or that they were erected by tornadoes, just because they have a similar blueprint. You know, the lug nuts from a Chevy will fit on a Pontiac. Similar design. Does that prove they both evolved from a Honda 18 million years ago? No. Same guys designed them. That's what it proved. Now, Man has a pretty good understanding of cars. I've had lots of cars. I don't get time to work on them anymore, but I know how. If you understand how a car works, does that prove nobody designed it? I mean, even if you studied the car completely till you thoroughly understood every nut and bolt, that still doesn't prove nobody designed it, does it? Understanding the operation of a car or machine does not at all explain the origin of the machine. And even if we study the human body and thoroughly understand it, and nobody does, by the way, but if we did, that still wouldn't take away the designer. There still has to be a designer. When my son, who's running that camera right there, turned 16, he got his driver's license. Suppose your kid turns 16. He gets his license. He says, "Hey, Dad, I got my license." "Wow, son, you're 16. You made it. We didn't think you would, but you did." He says, "Hey, Dad, can I borrow the car?" "Well, son, listen, your mom and I knew this day was coming.